What's going on, guys? I'm Master Archaeo, and today I'm bringing you another video that was going to be a longer gameplay, but with the amount of games that I've been getting on Dust 2, I decided to turn this into more of a from casual to competitive video instead. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Instead of the full gameplay, I will be bringing more full gameplays later. So what I want to talk about today, if you probably didn't notice by the title, is um, buying and communication while you're buying, and just communication in general. This is a game that, in my personal opinion, we either should have won or at least could have tied, but due to circumstances of just communication going down the hill, morale just kind of dropping because of it, um, it ends up being one of those games that we end up throwing, and instead of, just being salty about it, I figured I would, and even if I make some mistakes, maybe I'll figure them out, but this could be a learning experience for myself, and maybe for anyone else who's gone through this problem. So, to start, I'm showing you kind of the before scene. Right now it is 7-6. We were down early in the game. We made a great comeback. And these next few rounds are pretty much going to show that. This was a round, we ended up winning this round. So going into the last round, it's going to be, 8-6. And right now, we're playing pretty good. You can kind of see, we're buying AKs and everything. There's a Galil. We're all on the same page. The communication's there. We're calling out great. We have our plans down, and everything's going, perfect. And then when we get into the second half on CT side, we'll kind of get into what happens. I'm gonna get taken out, and then we're just kind of left here. And this was just the kind of game we were having. Rounds would start off kind of bleak, and then we would slowly but surely turn them around. See, there's a pick there. And that was just kind of the whole game, honestly. Certain rounds would just start off bad. As the rounds would go on, we would turn it around and everything would be great. So, coming into these last couple rounds on Terra side, we're feeling really good. And most of the time, if you're in the lead in a competitive matchmaking, most of the time, if you can keep it together, and even if you might slip a little bit, you make the right decisions, you're usually still going to win. Especially when you're in silver and gold, and even some like, the Guardian levels and stuff like that. So like this is a good example. Round start off bad, we get the plant anyways, and it ends up coming down to, we end up getting 2 kills, and that's a 1v1, and it's too late. So we are up 9-6. And just from looking at this on a map like Dust 2, and even kind of looking at like our KDs, both teams are pretty much even going into a CT side. And most of the time, gun skill alone and knowledge of the game can help you. But here's where things kind of go south. So, starting off, we have someone buy a CZ, which is alright. 2 pistols, standard pistol round, everything's great. I mean, you can't really go wrong on a standard pistol round unless a bunch of people buy Deagles. But, anyways, economy's the same, money's going to be the same. We all bought normal. Coming in, they rush through Cat, like, immediately. CZ goes down. And pretty much everyone dies. I don't know if we get a single kill this round. I don't believe so. I believe he goes down here as well. So, starting off on CT side's looking a bit bleak. We're looking a little rough. So, we lost the first round, so you're thinking we need to save. We're up, There's no need to purchase too much. And this is where everything kind of goes down. We have someone buy a submachine gun. We're like, alright, submachine gun's alright. You can have one person kind of play a sight, but he's still going to be kind of off. So you have one person that just bought a submachine gun, so they're going to hold a sight. Not too bad if you can win the round, or at least get a bunch of kills and hold them off. It's great, it kind of pays for itself. So this round kind of goes the same way, as you can tell. I'm going to drop. The guy with the sub rushes in. The call out was probably made at the time. He rushes in with the submachine gun, the only one that we had. He dies, and once again we are down to one person with a sub that they picked up. Gets a good kill, so I mean, when you look at it, trade is good, but he dies. They get to keep all their stuff. So once again, we are low on economy. And that's at this point where we should have completely saved. At this point, we have some people calling for a save. 2 people buy Bisons instead. And now you're kind of off. The reason you're off is because you want everybody to save both rounds. Or at least save one round and then have everybody on the same economy. That way, say for instance, we win this round. If everyone had saved, we all have money to keep buying. And if everyone bought, then it wouldn't have mattered. The 2 people with the submachine guns die instantly. The other 2 that are left alive are with pistols, and once again, we are stuck on a 5v2. I get a pick with a pistol. Don't remember that happening. But the round just kind of goes downhill, and we were up 3 rounds starting. And it's at this point where you kind of we start getting a vibe. There's a couple players that are kind of already giving up. I'm not going to name which ones on the team, but, you know, some people are already saying, okay, you know, the game's, you know, screw this. I don't understand it. You get people calling hackers. So at this point, back on the other side, we just lost 3 rounds straight, so now the people who saved now have money to buy. The people who did not save now have no money. So instead of the people that did not have money saving to then be able to buy the next round, they bought a submachine gun and a shotgun again. So now they still have no money, no armor, so shotgun goes down immediately with no armor. The other SMG goes down. There's no utilities. That SMG goes down, and then once again, everyone on our team's dead. Our money is completely lopsided. We have half the team that can buy, half the team that can't. So even though the carry's kind of there, it's just not happening. So we come back. The 2 people who completely save, which would have been myself and Electro, I get destroyed. But the 2 people who completely saved end up last alive, of course, but we die again. So it's now 10-9. So now we're thinking, okay, we all just need to save. Everybody save. Someone immediately buys. Someone who should have saved buys a FAMAS. Electro buys a Bison. Other people are buying some machine guns. So at this point, we all make a decision. You know, we need to do like a pseudo buy, and try to get something going. At this point, we need to make like a push, which at that point it's okay if everyone buys, because that was everyone's decision. You don't have everyone being lopsided. Electro goes off, gets 2 kills here, and things are starting to look up. I get a kill, and now there's only 1 left with an AK. And all of a sudden, you know, things are looking up. We all were, you know, we decided everyone's going to pseudo buy, except for one of the guys who had most recently didn't buy. We were like, okay, we'll get a kill. You can pick up their gun. But the thing that's happening is even though we are winning, and we may get a win here, because right now it's looking great. Two people are completely lit, but right now, we got an op that we can save that no one needs to, like, peek with or anything. He gets taken out. And it's just one of those things that, like, this stuff could be prevented. This is communication. I drop, so now our last person was 16. That's right. This guy goes on a killing rampage here. And this is what kills us. This right here is the point that completely killed us. He was a great player. He clutched that round. And we have someone buying an op who has now only $150, so he buys op, and a defuse kit. We have a second op on someone who now only has $100. We did a full buy here. Someone bought an auto for like a bunch. So the only person that has money right now is Electro. That's because he got a bunch of kills the last round. So right now we are putting all eggs in one basket. But the problem is we didn't need the ops. We didn't need 2 ops. We didn't even need 1, really. We could have just dealt with M4s and been okay. The auto we definitely didn't need. And it ends up biting us. Down one of our oppers goes. Our second opper goes. The guy with the auto goes down, and the last guy's drop. So now we're completely screwed because we just bought a bunch of stuff, and now we need to save. None of us. We have enough money for stuff, but we can kind of pseudo buy. There's no reason to completely buy. I believe one of us was calling for a full save at this point, or like a pseudo save, to save money for all of us for the next round, and that didn't happen. So once again, Electra buys another op, which he could afford it. Sloth bought an M4, immediately drops with 750. I saved with a pistol. That's the only reason I have 3100. And it's just kind of this. The whole rest of the game is this, like, back and forth of, okay, these 2 players are going to buy now, these 3 players are going to buy now, these 2 players are going to buy, and the team is constantly off balance. There's never really one round, like 1 or 2 rounds, where, except for I think the one on the last one where we kind of went full bananas, that we all had a buy. At some point we all, at least one person didn't have a buy. And even when we did, the play wasn't there because we weren't talking to each other as much. Because at this point, it got to the point where not only is people not talking about, or people are not talking about buying, but it's got to the point where the toxicity sets in. And that's something else that you gotta get rid of immediately. If someone starts being, toxic, kind of give them the, which that's an amazing flash. Shout out to Saggy Balls. But that's something that you gotta address almost immediately. Which we end up getting a win here, which does help us. But as you'll see in the next round, with the win, only a couple of us have enough to really do full buys. And by full buys, I mean utilities. The enemy team has 3 players with full utilities, full weapons. We have me, who has full utilities because I'm the only one that full saved. We have 1 person who can't ever buy armor because he's constantly buying an M4. And the rest of us are kind of like low money. So at this point in the game, we have the toxicity sits in, which we're kind of like back and forth, like, dude, just chill. We can still bring this back. And you have, of course, people are like, nope, it's over. I don't get it. These guys have to be hacking, that kind of stuff. And I mean, of course, that's one thing. You don't want to mute people all the time because they can have valuable information. But at the same time, sometimes you have to. So, as the situation, of course, continues, he gets a pick, I die, one-on-one. Money's still off, Electro dies. And once again, when we go back to buy, Sloth only has $2,300. Great Clips only has 19. And then we have a couple people who don't have anything. So then when you look at who's buying what, I'm saving. I think I buy like a UMP, yeah. Electra buys another op. Sub buys a submachine gun. So, I mean, like, you got someone with an op, and then you got a bunch of people with subs against a full team of AKs and ops. Which, I mean, you can only do so well with what you have before the enemies, you can kind of get picks, as you could see. And it's really these last few rounds where what I'm talking about is really going to take into full effect. Right now, what's happening, just to set the scene of the game, when I was here, just to kind of set the scene. So, start of the half, we were all cheery, everything's great. First few rounds, we lose a couple. Me and someone else called save. People didn't save. Moving into these last couple rounds at this point, a couple people still needed to save. Some people couldn't. Some people didn't need to. Some people did. And as you can see, like, I even made a mistake at this point. As you can see, like, I only have $400 and I bought head armor and a P90, and we all just get melted. The shotgun, like, certain things, like, now we still don't have money. We're not buying together. And it's around these last couple rounds where everything that has come to fruition really gets in here, because at this point we're not thinking win, we're thinking tie. Because it's 14-11, half of our team has clearly, like, checked out. They do not care if we want to lose, they are done, they want out. Which can be understandable. And we still have, 2 people with M4s and a bunch of people with submachine guns and no armor. One of them is me. Electro dies with an M4, which he only had $500 after buying it, so he probably could have saved. I bought just an MP just to try to save money because if I got a few kills. And at this point I'm like, okay, this round's going to be over, so at this point I'm calling full save. I'm telling everybody we need to save. We are going to save, so that way when we get to these last rounds, we will have the money. We can lose this one, we will still have the money. And we're just hoping for maybe a clutch that might keep it away. He dies, so it's 15-11. We've completely fallen apart. The communication's not there, and I'm like, okay, full save. No need to save, or no need to buy. Someone buys a FAMAS, someone buys an op. People are buying Bisons, and this is when they're like, we don't care, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, alright, fine. And I'm like, I don't want to be the only one on the team. I want to buy with my team. Because then if we win, I'm probably going to be the only one with a weapon. Which, in hindsight, I probably should have just saved. But, regardless. So we're going to this round. Everyone's expecting to lose. We completely obliterate the enemy team here. And I'm like, alright, this is exactly the situation that I was talking about. If we You know, we're getting weapons. We got 3 ops on the board right now. This is great. But yeah, 3 ops on the board. This is the situation we needed. This is why, you know, we didn't buy everybody that we needed to. And we have 3 ops from the enemy team. We have 1 person that buys a Bison, and Great Clip spot an AUG with no armor for 50. So he could have been the 1 person that saved, because next round, if you know, if we win next round, he's probably still not going to have enough. But you know, we have the ops, and at this point, the buying has completely like superseded everything. We're still getting shots off, but one of our teammates doesn't have any utilities or any armor. I get destroyed. I don't remember if Electro... I don't think Electro wins this. I think this is the last round. I don't actually remember. But it's just something to keep in mind when you're playing. And I can get more in depth with buying and money and everything and full communication. But when you're playing, if your team is in the lead and you kind of recognize that, especially at the beginning of a half, and you recognize that you may not be able to win the next couple rounds, or at least the next one, you gotta call it to your teammates. Tell them to save. Tell them to keep their money, or just light buy, maybe get pistol armor, maybe just another pistol. Because if you don't, yeah, this is the last round. If you don't, then it completely offsets your team. So then you have, you know, 2 players who are stuck with pistols and 3 players who have weapons, and you're completely stuck on those players clutching for you and covering for the 2 players. Now, a really good team can do that. A really good team can do that easily, and you don't even have to worry about it. But we're silver, and silver, one or 2 players cannot cover for a full team. So this is what the game ended up looking like at the end. You can kind of see how it went. But yeah, I mean, you guys saw we were up 9-6 at the end of the half. We lost 16-12. I mean, there were a couple times where we probably could have got back in the game, but you know, the buying differences ended up setting us off. That then led into you know, having to have teammates who were then getting angry because they didn't have the money to buy, so they had to buy, you know, they were buying like a tiny sub and some armor, and then getting destroyed because they have no armor, and then the next round not having enough money to buy, so then they're anger buying shotguns, and it just completely sets off your team. And it's not only affecting you, but it's affecting your whole team, because now you're causing, you know, if it's 2 people, it's 3 other players, and if it's 1 person, 4 other players, to then have to keep covering for you. And that toxicity then gets to other players, and it tilts you, and when you get tilted, you fall over. And that's pretty much what happened to us. We had, you know, a couple players that were at the bottom that I wish I had the voice chat for that game, honestly. We just had a couple, like a few players that were just constantly at the very end. Like we were all fine on T side. Go to CT side and it just falls apart. But hopefully you guys learned something from just watching this video. If you want me to go more in depth of buying, or more in depth of different types of communication that you can have and helping out with that, click a like, and leave a comment if there's anything else you guys would like me to cover. Like I said before, I will have more like shotcasts and stuff because you guys seem to like that. And if you want to see more videos and get notified when I upload, click that subscribe button. As always, I'm Master RKO, and I'll see you guys next time. Adios.